I wanted to discuss today the philosophy of the mind-body connection and its relationship to really promulgating and proliferating the ideas that are at the cornerstone of developing strong mind-body connections that directly support individual well-being in a practical domain. You know what that stretches beyond philosophy, but is also an extension of philosophy, and is part of the ways philosophers go about philosophizing often in relation to actions and perceptions um, that connect both the mind and the body directly together. And we can think of uh, the mind body connection of also being in a dynamic relationship. So sometimes maybe it's a little bit misleading to actually characterize it as the mind body connection. And maybe what we should do is characterize it as the mind behavior connection or the mind body behavior connection. We can think of the mind and body as being in a static state, but it's often dynamical and it's often constantly changing, and it really falls in line with the nature of things and this concept of impermanence that exists within nature, but also a lot of various wisdom traditions and philosophies touch on it too. And the ideas that we get from mind body philosophy often help us to calibrate our thinking and our perceptions in regards to the mind body connection and how it relates directly to our own individual lives, which can help to increase these metacognitive processes and thinking about our own thought processes, and also thinking about how our various thought processes impact our minds and our bodies as well as our behavior, and start to gain greater perspective into ourselves and also into our own behaviors that tend to optimize life or help to address us uh, in various situations in a more efficacious direction that allows us to be able to address a variety of difficulties or challenging circumstances through getting us to think more critically and more rationally about the mind body connection and its relationship to our behavior, but also how our perceptions impact ourselves and our understanding of the nature of reality, how things work, and how we can resolve various issues that arise in our day to day or moment to moment experiences. Um, so the mind body connection is very, very important for directly influencing our well being. And often the philosophy that accompanies the mind body connection itself is important for calibrating and facilitating uh, growth and optimizing well being in relation to the mind body connection that's direct and occurs through the philosophizing process, and really starting to develop self knowledge in regards to how the mind body connection impacts us as individuals, but also think more deeply into the nature of its existence. And that connection really started to spark interests of individuals who are studying well being within the scientific context throughout various psychological disciplines and disciplines across the mind sciences, in particularly the mind sciences that are more leaning towards the medical discipline as well as social science, which has more to do with human welfare and concerns with human agency, well being, um, how we can improve our day to day experiences, optimize learning. Education tends to be also very, very important when it comes to the study of psychology and the social sciences, but also medical in the medical discipline. There's very little difference between being able to, within a situated context, optimize your learning as well as to experience optimal productivity as well as positive well-being and this optimal state of well-being. Those tend to all really form one overall healthy characteristic of an individual's personality and personality expression, is to be able to optimize these functions of learning, productivity, and uh, the well-being the self experiences for the quality of their perceptions, motivations, emotions, feelings, actions, and behaviors, as well as the satisfaction that they can derive from that. And if they can enjoy themselves too, that tends to be very, very important for experiencing optimized state of well-being. Um, And this can all be understood more deeply as we engage in a practice on one end of calibrating the mind-body connection and getting to how we can optimize its nature and really start to understand it on a practical level, as well as a perceptual level, but then also philosophizing alongside that and drawing from the philosophy to help us to uh, really uh, progress our learning along this focus on calibrating the mind body connection and being able to draw on its various constituents and constituencies that directly can target certain perceptions, motivations, emotions, feelings, actions, or behaviors, or qualities of being that enrich our lives and enhance our lives in various ways, through optimizing it in the knowledge that we can draw on and the repertoires we can draw on through philosophizing about the mind body connection as well as behavior and how they interrelate to promote and optimize the self in relation to optimal well being. So that's all I wanted to say for this video. I hope you enjoyed.